Hi teachers, in this set of videos we're going to look at Unit 8, which is connecting fractions and decimals. So in Unit 5 we did fraction number sense, and in Unit 7 we did decimal number sense. And in this unit we're going to further connect the ideas of fraction and decimal. So they should have been somewhat apparent in Unit 7 because we built the idea of decimal on decimal fraction, but we want to further be able to write fractions as decimals and decimals as fractions. And typically in a traditional class you've probably done this by just using long division or a calculator, and we will definitely touch on calculator skills in this unit, but we're also going to use decimal grids to see a more intuitive way to think of fractions as decimals. So first, here we have some decimal grids, and we give them a fraction and we want them to shade the grid to represent the fractions. And the first ones are terminating decimals. So let's take a look at one of these. Okay. So we want to think of this, or have them think of this. If we have 3/4, we're going to shade 3 out of every 4 either small squares or columns, orange strips. Okay, and this is a good activity to have them do on their own. So I'm going to not shade these as well as I could to save you some time. Here's 3 out of these 4. Here's 3 columns out of these 4 columns. Now we have 2 columns left. We'll do 3 out of 4, 3 out of 4, and etc. Okay, I probably should have shaded those yellows yellow, but you get the gist. And then the idea is, well, there's 100 squares. Let's see how many we shaded. Well, we shaded 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 columns, so that's 6/10. And this was 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times, so that's 15/100. And combining these together, we have 7/10 and 5/100, or 0.75. Okay, so the ones that terminate are, for the most part, pretty direct. Okay, here we have 3/8, which terminates but in the thousands place. Okay, so this can be a little bit tricky. So first, here's 8 columns. So for these 8 columns, we'll shade 3 of them. And now we're going to go to these last 2 columns. So notice for the last 2 columns, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, this is 8. Then we have another 8, so we can shade, do those yellow this time. 3 out of these 8, 3 out of these 8. Okay, but this last set there's just 4. Okay. So it's interesting what ways they can come up with to think of this. Okay, one way is just to cut all the 4s in half, or all these hundredths in half. So now we have 8 half-hundredths. Okay, and I'm going to shade these blue, and then we want 3 out of 8. Okay, so notice here we have a full hundredth shaded, and here we have half a hundredth shaded. And this is a nice opportunity. We don't have the little zoom grid here, but I shaded them blue on purpose. Pretend these are all the same size. So if we shaded half of a hundredth, that's half of this zooming thousandths. Remember, this is 1/100th. Zoomed in, cut into 10 pieces, so each one of these pieces is 1/1000th. So then they can see that this piece shaded right here is going to be 5/1000ths. So we have 3/10. There were 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This ended up being completely shaded, so that's 7. And this 100 that's half shaded is equal to 5 thousandths. Okay. So let's go back to the media lesson. Okay. And again, as always, this is not the most efficient way to rewrite a fraction as a decimal, but this is giving them an idea, a visualization, a connection to the decimal grid for fractions that do not have a denominator of 10. And in the next video, we'll look at 8.2.